Section 1.2 is about misrepresenting data. Working example number 1 is called distorting the scale. So we have a couple of definitions to start with. The word distort means to change the appearance or meaning of something in a way that is misleading. And the word misleading means to show data in a way that is confusing or it is not accurate. So, the bar graph here shows Matthew's math test scores. We've got a title, Matthew's test scores. We've got score on the y-axis ranging basically from 60 to 70. And then we've got test 1, test 2, test 3, and test 4 indicated on the x-axis. According to the graph, what score did Matthew get on each test? That's the question for part A. So for test 1, he got 60. Test 2, it was right between 64 and 66, so it must be 65. Test 3, he got 68. And then test 4 works out to be 69. That's pretty easy. From the graph, what seems to be true about Matthew's improvement on the last 4 tests? Well, if you look at this graph, it looks like he's improved a lot. The small bar here, and then the last 3 are much, much taller. So it looks like there's a huge improvement when you look at the graph. So the graph makes it look like Matthew has improved a lot. However, that is not true. There's something called a break in the scale on the y-axis that makes this misleading. If you look right here, we actually start the graph at 0 and then we jump to 60. And we make that jump possible by using this squiggle here, or zigzag symbol. That's called the break. So a break in the y-axis can be misleading. And there are a couple of ways that you can show a break. One is using the zigzag pattern like this graph did. The other is to have 2 diagonal lines with a space between them. And that's also a break. So a break in the y-axis of a graph means that the length of the axis has been shortened. And so that's what's been done here. So let's turn the page and see how we can fix that. Part C, how could you make the graph less misleading? Well, if you draw the graph with a scale that starts at 0 and doesn't have a break, that's going to be a more accurate representation of the data. So here we've done that and we need to complete it for test 4. So we've got 60, 65, 68, and then the last one here is going to be 69. I don't know if these are percents, but we'll draw that score in there and we can shade it in. Everything else is shaded. And Matthew scored 69 on test 4. So now look at this graph. Describe Matthew's test improvement. Well, it is improving, which we already knew, but it's much more gradual than what the first graph sort of led you to believe. So Matthew's test scores have improved a small amount over the last 4 tests. That's the reality of it. The greatest increase is between test 1 and test 2, where he went from 60 to 65. So there was an increase of 5 on that one. There was 5 to go from here to here. It was only 3 to go from here to here, and only 1 from here to here. So the biggest increase is this gap right here of 5. So that's the first little bit. Now we have a show you know. Please go ahead and give that a try on your own.